Hi you guys, welcome to my channel, Moon Spirit Tarot. My name is Julia and I'm an intuitive tarot reader. Thank you so much for joining me today. So for today's reading, it's going to be a timeless pick a card reading asking the question, what should you know about this connection? So this can be for a friend, family member, a lover, really any connection that's been on your mind lately that you wanted to take a deeper look at. And this is a timeless pick a card, so it should work for whenever this message finds you. And I'm going to be using a simple 5-card spread as well as some oracle cards and animal message cards. And I'll also be choosing qualifiers as I feel it's necessary. So whenever you guys are ready, you can head down to the description box and pick which pile 1, 2, or 3. And if you feel drawn to pick multiple piles, you can go ahead and do so, because sometimes there's parts of the message of multiple different messages that'll resonate for your connection. So I think that's about it. If you guys already know your pile, you can head on down to the timestamps in the description box. Otherwise, I will hover the camera over the piles for a few seconds to give you some time to choose intuitively. And it's out of piles 1, 2, or 3. All right, thank you so much. I'll see you in a minute. Bye-bye. All right, you guys, so here are the piles 1, 2, and 3 from left to right. So I'm just going to leave this here for a few seconds so you can choose a pile intuitively. Take a deep breath if you need to, and also remember that you can pick multiple piles if you feel so drawn. All right, I will see you in a minute, guys. Hi Pile 1, welcome to your reading. So today we're going to start out looking at some tarot cards asking the question, what should you know about this connection? And then we're going to clarify with some oracle cards and animal message cards as needed. So I'm doing a simple 5-card spread today that goes root, helping force, hindering force, advice, outcome. And I just shuffled and drew. I haven't yet flipped them myself, so I'm going to flip them as I go and let you guys see them, because I feel like it's helpful and honestly easier for me to just flip as we go along, because I feel like it's easier to be in touch with the messages at that point, and for you guys too. Okay, so for the first card for you guys, we have in the root position is the Ace of Swords, and this is a Connolly Tarot deck. In the helping force position, we have the 9 of Wands. In the hindering force position, we have the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. The advice position, we have the 3 of Cups. And in the outcome position, we have the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, pile number 1. So what I'm getting right off the bat is that you came to a sudden realization about this person, and that's showing us with the Ace of Swords. It might have been something that you really struggled with before, that you were on the fence, and now it's like came in through like a sudden snap realization. And I'm thinking that it has something to do with finances and work. So I'm seeing that the person you're asking about, they might have you feel a little bit, with the 9 of Wands, having you feel a little bit pressured and burdened right now when it comes to finances. And I say when it comes to finances because we have the Ace of Pentacles in the hindering force position. So I'm seeing overall that it's looking like you guys need to inject more fun into this connection and lightheartedness. I think you might have been feeling pressured and burdened by a lot of money issues. Like this person is maybe expecting you to be the sole breadwinner, or you know, maybe you asked this person to work and they're refusing. Or I just see a lot here with work going on. And just give me a minute here. Yeah, honestly, pile number one, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think it might be possible here that there is a third party situation and possible that this person may or may not be using you for your resources. And the reason I say that is because this is the helping force position. So this is about being on guard. So it's saying that you need to have your guard up around this person, and with the Ace of Coins reverse, and that's in the hindering force position. So I almost see it like this person kind of spends your money, they're a spendthrift, they're not caring about all of, and this is the outcome position. So I really think this person values you for your work and how much money you bring in, and that's starting to be frustrating to you. And I think that's what your sudden realization is about, actually, that this person may be using you, and they may be, the Three of Cups is a third party. I know before I was like, oh, it's about having more fun, but this also can be the third party card. And I do feel with the surrounding cards, seeing all this pressure and burden and sudden realization with the Ace of Swords, it kind of seems like it's more in the vein of a possible third party. And it's like you're suddenly realizing this, whereas before, you might have been almost like manipulated into thinking that you should be the breadwinner for this person or the sole provider, or that, that's the way things should be. But it's almost like you're just now realizing, like, wow, this is not okay. Like, this person's using me. So I'm really sorry if this is happening, pile one, but let's look at your oracle cards to see what else is going on here. And yeah, whatever it is that you were seeing, pile one, it was definitely the truth. You're coming up on like a truth bomb that's might be kind of shocking, but it's something that you needed to see. Yeah, it's almost like this person is out creeping while you are working your butt off and taking care of them. Yep, so this is the card that came up, Solitude. So it's definitely saying that you need to take some time and really, really think about what it is this connection means and why you feel attached to it. Definitely take some alone time to reflect. Looks like you've been doing that with the Ace of Swords, but they really want you to get to the bottom of this connection and kind of be honest with yourself. All right, so then we have the card Gratitude. And the animal you got was Wild Horse. And that says, speak your passion aloud and defend those whom you love in word and deed. Okay, pile number one. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is that in addition to the things that we've already brought up, I think that you might be having some sort of, this person might be pressuring you to do a career that you're not really into because they think that that's the only way to make money or that's the best way to make money, and They may or may not give a crap about what your passions are or what makes you happy. They just expect you to kind of keep plugging and chugging away at that 9 to 5 because that's what, that's what we've been trained to think is the only way, to work sometimes. But you need to follow your own passions. And the thing is, it's not true that there's only one or two ways to build stability for ourselves. And a lot of people do try to make us feel that way, but that's really only a fear mindset. I mean, there's a million different ways you can put yourself out there and put your passions out there. And I feel like once people get over the fear of putting themselves out there, they usually have much better results than what they expect. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with the combination of gratitude and speak your passions. Is that after you take this kind of reflective time about this relationship, you're going to realize that you didn't really have a lot of room to speak your passions, and that maybe this person wasn't really that grateful for you. Because I don't think that this gratitude card is telling you that you need to be more grateful. I think it's actually about that person not being incredibly grateful for what you're doing for them and kind of just having the expectation that you're just going to hunker down and be responsible and provide for them. And they're allowed to go and have fun, but you're not allowed to go and have fun or do things that you're passionate about. So, I mean, and that's not fair. That's not fair to you. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe just get one clarifier on this Three of Cups, because I do want to see if this is a third party situation. Potentially. Yeah, but in general, I feel like this person is very stifling to you and your passions, and they may kind of, laugh at what you want to do or think it's somewhat of a joke. And like I said, tell you that, no, you just need to do X, Y, Z. Sorry, I dropped a card on the floor there. And you have no right to pursue your interest or do something fun because we have bills to pay, but that's just not appropriate. I'm sorry. And if they try to bring you down, just when you're trying to put yourself out there with something you love, just know that that's just their fear talking. All right, so what's this Three of Cups situation? Six of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, so I think that is more talking about what I was saying in terms of the imbalance work situation. Like, this person is just expecting you to provide for them, work away while they get to go out and have fun, but you don't necessarily get to go out and have fun. And you don't have a right to pursue your interests, and that's just not fair. That's not fair to you. And you're really starting to feel pressured and burdened. Like, all I do is work for this person, and they don't really give much back, or they kind of take you for granted. They definitely take you for granted and don't have much gratitude. They just expect you to take care of them and F your feelings. And this might be because partly, when again, not trying to victim blame or anything, but it might be partly because you tend to be a very kind of stable, grounded, dependable person. So people might make the mistake of taking advantage of you in that situation and just kind of expecting you to provide, even though you're really looking like depleted, tired, and you really want a change of pace when it comes to your work. But whoever this person is pressuring you a lot. So overall, I would say take a look at what this connection is really giving to you and versus what you are giving to this connection. And I think that's where the main issue is that there's just kind of an imbalance. I think it's imbalance. There's just kind of an overall imbalance where you're not, feels like you're not allowed to let your creative side out, to let your fun side out, because you're just expected by your partner to work and provide and work and provide. And again, like I said, that is not fair to you. So let's see we're just going to pull one more card for what the overall advice is. Like, how would you approach your partner from now on? Because this is just telling you, yep, there's an imbalance and it's not fair that you have to provide for them. When they give nothing, they don't give equal back. Because, and I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with one partner providing for the other, definitely not, but there needs to be some sort of understanding or give and take. It can't just be, you know, entitlement. I expect you to do this and I give nothing back. Like, it can't be like that. And the person has to appreciate that you need time and space to chill too. Can't be all work and no play. Okay, so 10 of Cups in reverse was the outcome card there. So yeah, this card is a little difficult, not gonna lie. It's talking about how it might look like the perfect relationship on the surface and you really, really badly want it to be that picture perfect relationship. But unless you really address this imbalance of giving and receiving, where you're giving way too much, let's just be honest here, you're giving way too much. I know that it can be hard to get out of that mindset once you're so used to being the giver, but at the end of the day, it is going to create an imbalance and kind of resentment. So you really need to address why it is that you feel like you need to overgive. Why is it that you feel like, you know, your partner doesn't have to give anything and you just give, and that's the only way you get love. But at the end of the day, that isn't going to be a happy relationship because it's based on the foundation of an imbalance. And I do think that there could, you know, ultimately be a happy relationship here, but this person, you really need to take your time and reflect. And if you don't stand up for your needs, then this person may never acknowledge it. So I think you need to stand up for yourself after taking some time to reflect and really identifying these imbalances. And then that person needs to be receptive and they need to have more gratitude for what they're doing, particularly if you're the provider in this relationship and they're pressuring you to work. There really needs to be a sit down about, is that really fair on you? But I think that's all I'm getting for you, pile number one. So thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope this made sense and was helpful. I'll see you next time. Thanks, bye-bye. Hi, pile two. Welcome to your reading, asking the question, what should you know about this connection? So for today's reading, we're going to be doing a simple 5-card spread, and I will hold up each card as I go through them, and then we'll be pulling some oracle and animal message cards for clarification. So the cards that came up for your reading were in the root position. We have the Knight of Spears, or Knight of Wands. In the helping force position, we have the Knight of Swords. In the hindering force position, we have the King of Swords. In the advice position, we have the Magician. Oh, and this is the Game of Thrones tarot, by the way, in case you couldn't tell. And in the outcome position, we have the High Priestess. Okay, pile number two. So this is definitely a very interesting set of cards. So we're just going to go through the reading one by one. So let's start with the Knight of Spears. So this can either be the person of interest or you. I do feel like for most of you, it's going to be the person of interest. So the Knight of Spears, they're definitely a handful. I'll tell you that. We might be talking about a fire sign, either Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or just somebody with that prominent in their chart, or just those traits. but they're going to be a very kind of charming, attractive person. This might be somebody who looks a little stereotypically like the stereotypical player type, whether they're a guy or a girl. They're not someone who typically likes to be held down. They're usually still in their phase of exploring life, going on adventures. They don't necessarily have bad intentions, but they can have the issue of jumping into a relationship, thinking, being all gung-ho, thinking, oh, this is the one, blah, 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 and then realize that they're bored 2 weeks later and want to move on. And like I said, that isn't often their intention, but it's definitely something to look out for when you're dealing with a Knight of Wands type of person. But they're definitely going to be fun, charismatic, a good time. And that's not to say they can't be in a long-term relationship. But it might not be their first preference, or it might take them a while before they get tied down, just because they have such an adventurous spirit. They really want to see what's out there before they're tied down. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily, it can come off as a stereotypical player, but that doesn't mean they're out like sleeping with a bunch of people. I mean, that might be the case, but usually you see that more with the Knight of Spears in reverse. Usually this is someone who's, fun-loving, they have a good heart, but they're definitely like the hard to pin down person. And usually the knights are also the energy of someone, sorry by the way that I keep like doing this weird head dip, it's because there's a glare on the cards, and so it's kind of hard to see all the way. I'll think about that next time for my setup. But so what was I saying? Yes, the Knight of Spears, so it's hard to tie down. And so I feel like you feel conflicted about this person. So on the one hand, you're very attracted to them. I mean, it's hard not to be attracted to this. I mean, it's Jaime Lannister, come on. The Knight of Wands is notoriously attractive. I just have to say it. You might be very attracted to them, but at the same time, you are a bit skeptical. You're like, is he or she just gonna run around on me? Can he take this? Are they capable of taking this seriously? So you might be like judging, like not necessarily in a bad way, but in a self-preserving way, judging their lifestyle a little bit. Like, I don't know if I can keep up with that. Like, I like you, but you're a lot to handle. But the good news is you can definitely make this connection work if you want. So what the cards are saying that with the Knight of Swords as the advice, you can see Ramsay there. He's looking very concerned, like he's looking out at the distance like, I don't know about you. So I would say that you definitely need to be a little on guard with this person, watch their behavior, watch how they treat you, set your boundaries, don't let them disrespect you. But with the King of Swords in the hindering force, it's really interesting how it goes Knight of Swords to King of Swords. To me, that's saying that there's no need to be overly harsh, because I do think this Knight of Wands character has good intentions. They might be a little on the adventurous side, a little hard to pin down, but they're not somebody who's going in with the intention of like playing you or something. So I think being really harsh, like, and setting ultimatums is probably not a good idea at this point. Or cutting them off or making assumptions. I think that's you don't need to be overly logical with this connection. So if you are really feeling a pull towards this person and traction, it can definitely work. And the reason I say that is because we have the Magician in the advice. So I think that's making a lot of sense. So I think the more you get in your head about this, like, I don't know about this person, they're the XYZ and that's not going to work, then that's going to be your outcome. So if you have a positive, like I said, keep your guard up, but have a positive attitude towards it at the same time and be optimistic, because that's what's going to be. The Magician is saying you have the power to manifest how you want this to be. And obviously free will goes into manifesting. I'm not a proponent of love spells or anything like that, but I think it's saying that your optimism is going to carry into this relationship. And that's especially true with the Knight of Spears or a fire sign. They love optimistic, happy-go-lucky type people. I mean, that's not saying you have to be completely like a different person if that's not naturally who you are, but they typically appreciate optimism and dislike when people make preemptive judgments on them or decide that they're not good enough, ahead of time, which can be the King of Swords downside, especially since the King of Swords is in the hindering force position. I think that means that you should refrain from making negative assumptions or judgments or going in like knowing it's already not going to work out, because then that's what you're going to get with the Magician. So I think if you have a positive attitude and go in with the idea that this connection can work, I really think it could work out really well. Also, you might be an air sign, which is Aquarius. Sorry, this little thing keeps knocking over, and I don't like when that happens. But you might be an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, and typically, yeah, those do get along very well with fire signs. I mean, they butt heads just like everyone butts heads with fire signs. I'm a Sag, so I know how it is. But usually air and fire signs do get along very well. So you might probably have fun going on adventures, talking about, you know, like cool, deep topics, all that stuff. But there is just a slight mistrust you're having because of their Knight of Swords nature. But overall, I'm not seeing any indication that they're going to be not faithful. It really comes down to your expectations of the relationship and what you're putting on it. So for the advice position, or I'm sorry, this is the outcome position, and this is the High Priestess. You can see Lady Melisandre here. So I think that makes sense for what else is going on right now. So I do think that eventually you can manifest this relationship to work, but if you're watching this Knight of Spears kind of like, like, are you running around, like, just hold your thoughts to yourself for now. And the High Priestess, she is the most enigmatic but attractive card in the deck. And I mean attractive in the sense of she literally doesn't do anything. She doesn't have to do anything. You don't have to take any action. So I think that's mostly what this card is saying here. You don't need to take any action towards this Knight of Spears. This is like the action, one of the most action-oriented cards. So I think that when you you know, just sit there kind of like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'm just observing you, seeing if you're going to be the type of person that I want to be with. And they're going to naturally be intrigued by that, and they're going to end up making the move towards you. So I think if you just sit there in your power and your knowledge, just knowing like, you know, I know who you are, I know what you are, I know you're going to come towards me, and that's going to be very mysterious and intriguing towards them and draw them towards you. So I think overall that's pretty much what's coming up with the tarot cards. So overall, you know, it's a fun, adventurous man or woman, might be a fire sign. You are a little bit, not suspicious, but a little bit guarded with them, not sure if they can handle this type of connection or if they're going to run around, but the truth is it can definitely work out. You will get along, and it's all depending on your kind of thoughts and feelings towards it and having an optimism there. And then for the outcome card, as a High Priestess, you don't need to take any action. This person is likely going to come towards you. Okay, so let us get your oracle cards now. So the first one is the Enchanted Map oracle card. Okay, so the card we have here for you is Commitment. Oh my god. Yes, guys, see what I said? Okay, so you might be the one, sorry. You might be the one to finally make this Knight of Spears settle down here. Yes, I love that for you. And that definitely lines up with the rest of the cards. So if this individual isn't committing to you now, then they're definitely prepared to in the future. Yeah, they definitely have a lot of love for you. Okay. Sorry, one fell out. Sometimes jumpers are meant to be part of the spread, and sometimes it's just sloppy shuffling. It just depends on how they jump out in my experience. Like, if they jump out more than once, usually to me that means it's meant to be. Or if they sometimes they'll jump out like perfectly on the pile, like in the perfect position, and you're like, okay, I see you. All right, so this is a New Orleans Oracle deck. Patience. Okay, so you may have to wait a bit before this commitment happens or before it reaches that level. I mean, honestly, these are pretty fast-moving cards in your tarot deck. The Knight of Spears, in your tarot spread, the Knight of Spears, the Knight of Swords, and the Magician are all pretty fast-moving. But especially, I guess, with the High Priestess, which is not taking any action. So I guess that makes sense. So you will have to have a little bit of patience, though it looks like commitment is definitely in the cards for you, if that's what you want with this person. And now we're going to pick your animal message card. All right, so the animal message that came out for you was bat. And that's saying you have the power to transcend failure and move into a limitless future. So I love that card with the Magician card as your advice. That's again telling you that you have the ability to really make this connection work if you want. And you might be being informed, especially by past relationships, especially if you had a tendency to be attracted to these fiery types before and maybe got burned. And so that's kind of why you're a bit wary, like, here we go again. But just know that it's not your past relationship and you don't have to carry around those hurts anymore. And anything, kind of baggage or things that you're worried about that bringing into this new connection, you don't have to worry about it, because with your patience and optimism and knowing that this connection can work, it definitely has the ability to transcend any difficulties into a nice committed relationship. So I think that's all I'm getting for you, pile number 2. Really good spread here. I think it made a lot of sense. I hope it made sense to you, and I really hope it was helpful. Thanks again for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye. Hi, pile number 3, and welcome to your reading, asking the question, what do I need to know about this connection? So for today's reading, we're going to be doing a 5-card tarot spread, as well as pulling some oracle cards and animal message cards and some additional tarot clarifiers as needed. So I'm going to be going through the spread and showing you each card, and then I will get to your messages. So for the root position for this connection, we have the Wheel of Fortune reverse. And this is using the Tarot of the Divine deck. For the helping force position, we have the Sun reverse. The hindering force position, we have the Empress. The advice position, we have the Chariot. And for the outcome position, we have the Queen of Wands. Okay, pile number 3. So what I'm getting off the bat is that the person you're asking about, they may be suffering with a bout of bad luck lately, and because of that, they're kind of taking it out on you. And I see them as kind of trying to lower your confidence a little bit, and it's really sad because you seem like the type of person, you might be a Cancer or a water sign, which is Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, but you might be the type of person to really put a lot of nurture and care into your relationships, and when somebody's mean to you, you just kind of turn the other cheek, or you pray for them, or you try to put more love in the connection. But that can lead to some issues where people really start to take advantage of that, or they just feel entitled to bring you down. So I'm feeling that this person has, like I said, run into a bit of bad luck. It might be on their own doing, and they're looking at you and your accomplishments, and it's making them feel bad about themselves. And so they're trying to kind of dim your light, and it's really sad because, like I said, you might have the tendency to accept that or take that for the sake of the relationship. But the cards are asking you not to do that. They want you to admit that what this person is doing. So it's interesting how we have the Sun reverse and the helping force with the Empress, which is usually a good card, and the hindering force. And I've noticed that comes up a lot in this spread that I do. It's like their cards are trying to teach me, you know, it goes a lot deeper than this card good, this card bad. But what I'm getting with that card combination is that you need to admit this person is making you unhappy, and you need to admit that they're dimming your light, that they're trying to make you feel bad, that they're trying to lower your confidence, instead of just saying like, oh, if I'm more loving, if I'm more grateful, if I pray, then maybe this person will stop bullying me. But that's just not how it works. Unfortunately, as I know very well, there are just some people who the more love you put on them, the more they feel entitled to zap that. It's kind of like, and this might not be, I'm not trying to say that this is a bad person at all. It looks like they've just been down on their luck, and they're kind of just stuck in this web of like blame and head games and all this stuff. And they're looking over at you with your victories and your accomplishments in the Chariot. Like, you can see the way that this card's set up is that this figure is kind of looking over at this person like, hey, what the heck, you're not allowed to be doing well and be accomplishing things while I'm over here in my web and my tangled mess. Like, you have no right to be confident. And they might be saying these kind of messages to you, and you really might have been internalizing them like, oh yeah, I'm not so great. Like, I just see this as a type of relationship where it's like one person doesn't try at all, is unemployed. Not that, again, being unemployed is not a bad thing in itself, but I'm talking about in the context of a relationship where one person's unemployed with the expectation that the other is always going to take care of them without kind of reciprocating or having even any sort of gratitude. So, sorry, where was I even going with that? But yeah, so they might be looking at you like, you have no right to succeed, you'll never accomplish anything, but that's really them projecting, when the truth is that you've actually accomplished a lot. You're a really charismatic, fun person to be around, and you have a lot of talents and abilities, and people really, really love you. You shine. You might be a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sag, and you're very shiny, and it's like the more you shine, the more pissed off this person gets and tries to dampen you. But like I said, it has everything to do with them and where they're at. And I think that there needs to be an acknowledgement that they are making you feel bad, and that you're kind of internalizing how they are making you feel. Like, instead of realizing that it's them being in a bad position and taking it out on you, you're kind of like, yeah, well, maybe I'm not so great. Maybe I don't have a right. Maybe I shouldn't put myself out there. Maybe they're right. Maybe, like, I'm the big idiot. But that's not true. You really, really have a need to own up your accomplishments and be really proud of that. And I feel really bad that this person is trying to make you feel bad. It's almost like the more you shine, the more they try to bring you down. And you really need to acknowledge that, and you don't need to give them more love. You don't need to give them more anything. You need to set your boundaries and acknowledge what they're doing, and keep doing what you're doing and shining and accomplishing things regardless of what this person says. So I'm going to draw a couple clarifiers here. I'm going to see what this root wheel fortune reverse, and I do think it's about your person kind of being down on their luck lately. And they also might have been dragging you into that, like, see how they're tangling you in their web. It's like something that was just their problem. They're trying to make your problem too, and they might be especially resentful of seeing you succeed while they're struggling. So they think that, like, and this is sadly a common thing that people do, but they think like, if they're struggling, their loved ones have to struggle too. Like, they don't have a right to be out here thriving while they're hurting, but that's honestly not true. And you'd be in a better position to help them if they didn't behave like that and they let you do you and be yourself, which is essentially what this card's saying. That you're, with the Chariot and the advice, you are going to set your boundaries and basically not back down. You're not going to let this person drive your life or make you feel like you have to be less or shine less or do less. Like, you definitely don't. And I see you, even though you might struggle with typically setting boundaries and standing up for yourself, I do think you're going to be successful in doing that in this situation. Whoops. Because the outcome is you feeling really happy and confident with yourself. So I think that you're going to realize that your lack of confidence was totally this person projecting on you, and you're going to get like your spark back. So if you felt like, yeah, I used to be like that Queen of Wands figure, I used to love singing and dancing, putting myself out there, making videos, doing all this fun creative stuff, until this person really brought you down and you just felt like, oh, I guess I'm not that great. But that was never true, and you're starting to get that realization back. Okay, so I just wanted to see about this Wheel of Fortune. Like, what is the main issue here? Interesting. Okay. So these are literally all relationship cards. So the Wheel of Fortune, these are clarifiers of the Wheel of Fortune reverse in the root. So we have the Hierophant, and this is the Mystic Mondays tarot deck. The Ten of Cups. And, sorry, there's a bit of a glare, excuse my squinting. And the Two of Cups. So yeah, literally like the most relationship-y cards possible. So, okay. So yeah, with the Wheel of Fortune reverse, and having these as the clarifier, there may have been some issues that the two of you, and I definitely feel like this is a romantic connection with the Two of Cups, Ten of Cups, and Hierophant coming up. You guys may have run into some issues when it comes to putting your relationship developing to the next level and to the next level of commitment, especially with the Hierophant, Two of Cups and Ten of Cups. That's definitely the marriage cards, 100%. So it might be that you guys had planned on getting married, or one or the other of you wanted to get married, but then you kind of ran into some really crappy luck. So it could have been pandemic related or family related type issues, but you were running into some issues that didn't, and I don't see it as one person wanted to get married and the other person didn't. It looks like both of you are very committed and connected, but I see that some sort of something came up that stopped you guys from moving forward, and I think that might be where the point of contention is. So maybe the fact that you guys didn't manage to get married, or whatever the next step of commitment is for you, that might be leaving this person feeling insecure. Or maybe it's this person's like their family and luck and situations that caused you to not be married yet. So maybe they feel responsible, and so instead of owning up to and acknowledging that, they're kind of just taking it out on you. Yeah, because these clarifiers are super interesting, because it's definitely showing that this is a deep committed relationship with a real connection, but you guys are just hitting some issues right now when it comes to the level of commitment. Yeah, I feel like this person got too stressed or busy, or something came up to where they weren't able to move forward with this commitment, and they might be really insecure about that. And maybe when you bring up like, hey, when are we going to push forward with these plans, they might take it out on you or try to make you feel bad, when the truth is it's just them feeling bad about themselves and not knowing how to move forward. So overall from your tarot cards, I'm getting that this is a really solid and deep connection, but you guys have been running into some issues, mostly because of this person hitting a spot of bad luck, and they've been making you feel really bad lately. So there needs to be an admittance that you're not happy in the relationship right now and you're not where you want to be. So rather than trying to like overly spoil this person, like in reaction to them not giving you what you want. So if they're like, for instance, throwing an emotional temper tantrum, you don't go, oh baby, it's okay, like what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, because that sets up the kind of expectations in a relationship for you to constantly be the giving one. So you really need to, like I said, admit that this person has been making you feel bad and set your boundaries and tell them, you know, how are we going to get that spark back? How are we going to move forward? Because the way you're treating me right now isn't okay. And I think if you keep it on the inside and let it fester, that is what's going to keep this kind of tangled web going and going. You just need to have a sit-down talk with them. Oops, sorry. You need to have a sit-down talk with them about kind of the messy situation that's going on and about how you can move forward. And like I said before, with the Queen of Wands in the outcome position, I feel like you're really going to feel that kind of spark back, both personally and in the relationship. So once you express yourself, set your boundaries, and are honest with this person, I feel like they're going to really respect you being so upfront. And it's kind of going to make them be like, damn, like, you're sexy when you yell at me, like, type of thing. Not like yell at them all the way, but you know what I mean. This person's going to, because you might be in the habit of kind of always acquiescing to them. So I think that when you have a sit down and you're really frank with them, like, what happened to our plans? Why aren't we moving this forward? Why are you having cold feet? Why are you making me feel bad every time I bring up our plans? And they're gonna be like caught off guard because they're used to you just trying to make them feel better all the time, and you trying to build them up while they bring you down. They're used to that dynamic, and so I think they're going to be caught off guard and be like, damn, like, I really need to look at my behavior and I realize that I've mistreated you. Because like I said, there's a really strong connection here, and I think that at the beginning of your relationship you guys might have been might have been really more feeling more in love and more feeling it and just more super like honeymoon period, etc. But when you tried to bring it to the next level of engagement, marriage, commitment, that's when things kind of started to get tricky. And it's very natural. It makes sense because it's a lot of pressure. Marriage is a lot of pressure. It puts pressure on couples. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're not good for each other. But I do think that there needs to be a sit-down talk with this person about, sorry about that, about how they're behaving towards you. So let's get into your guys' oracle cards. Yours was the longest reading so far. Didn't mean to do that. All right, so for your first card, we have Gentle Gardener. And that's the Enchanted Map Oracle deck. Sorry, they got a little jumbled in my hands here. Okay, this is the second card, Duality, and that is from the New Orleans Oracle deck. And then we'll choose an animal message for you. Yeah, I'm getting hit with the Duality card that you guys might have a lot of ups and downs. Like, there's definitely, not in like a toxic way, but there's definitely an intense passion there, and you might be kind of opposites in a lot of ways. That's why there is such an intense passion and love, and that comes up in the Two of Cups too, kind of coming of opposites, coming together of opposites. So you might be opposite in a lot of ways, and that's why you butt heads a lot. But you need to acknowledge each other's good and bad sides. And yeah, I'm getting that totally makes sense for this person to be kind of on edge right now because they really don't like how the plans got thwarted, possibly because of them. And that's overall in general what's making them feel so uptight and acting out so much towards you, because they're insecure that they messed up or didn't show up for you. Okay, and then for your animal message, you got moose. And that says, with self-reliance and measured patience, adversity will be overcome. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense with these cards together. So with Moose and Gentle Gardener, it definitely seems like you definitely need to have patience with this connection. And I think that you guys need to be a little gentler with each other. And there's a lot of love there, but I see that when you guys get on a different page, there can be kind of some intensity there, and I think that you need to be really patient and gentle with each other with this connection, and I think it'll be fine. But yeah, okay. So when it comes to your plans for the future, whether that's marriage, moving in together, deeper commitment, I think it's important for both of you, and especially you, the viewer, to not rush things. At the end of the day, you know, it really doesn't matter when you get married. Like, I don't know if you have an age limit or maybe in your mind, or maybe your family might be pressuring you, but at the end of the day, you're going to be much happier if you take your time and really, really nurture your connection before you rush into what you think is like a, you know, the next hallmark. Like, our relationship it's not serious until we're married or engaged or whatever it is. I think it's much more important that you guys make the time to try to understand each other and be on the same page. And I think this is especially true with your partner, because going back to your cards, like I said, it seems like you have the tendency to acquiesce them more often than not, and you might keep your true feelings on the inside, but then there's the stewing resentment. And I'm a Cancer rising, so we're very good at this, the water signs, at the stewing resentment. But I think that you do much better to state your needs up front and be honest with your partner about why you're not moving forward. And but go into it also with a gentle attitude, like just be really open and willing to communicate with them. And if you feel like you're not getting the same in return, you need to express that and say, like, you really need to listen to what my needs are right now, because I'm not happy in this connection. You're not happy in this connection, and you're taking it out on me. How can we make it work? Because you definitely can make it work, but there needs to be a higher level of gentleness and understanding when your wants and needs don't necessarily always match up. But I think particularly the biggest thing is for you to express yourself. Don't acquiesce to this partner. Don't think that if I love them better, love them harder, then they're gonna give me what I want, even though I'm keeping silent and keeping it deep down, like inside me. I just hope that if I love them the best, then they'll move forward with the marriage or whatever it is. But you need to be upfront and communicate what you want, and they're gonna really be attracted to that. They're gonna see you as really sexy and confident, and that might surprise them because they're not used to you being sexy and confident. They're used to you being kind of like the Mother Mary type. It's like, oh, that's okay, I'm sweet, I'm nice, I take care of you, and I'll give you whatever you want. But you're not gonna move forward that way. And I think they're gonna appreciate you being honest rather than trying to be nice and then secretly resenting them. That's definitely something that happens. So yeah, pile number 3, I think that's overall what I'm getting for you. Good cards, like a bit of point of contention with this individual, but I think overall, as long as you express your needs, but at the same time, express your needs with confidence, but at the same time, have kind of a gentle understanding with each other about where each other's coming from. And if you feel like this person isn't being receptive to your needs, you really need to express that, because I don't see them as someone who's inherently selfish. Like, they definitely care about you, and they care about you and they love you, but they've been kind of caught in their own little like headspace with what's going on, and they might be stuck in their certain perceptions, and they might not even realize what you are feeling if you're not expressing it to them. So that would be my advice. But yeah, that's overall what I'm getting for you, pile number 3. So thank you so much again for joining me. I really hope that was helpful, and hope to see you soon. Have a good day. Bye, guys.